Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Eon Network Podcast. Today's episode is all about VR, and I'm sure all of you out there do know all about VR. Of course, virtual reality has really done wonders over the past couple of years, especially really in the last year or so. I mean, everyone has been talking about VR left and right. In fact, this video is all about why I believe the Quest 3s is not worth it, though. I truly believe, I'm just going to go ahead and state it right here, right now, right off the block, that I believe that if you do have the time, if you do have the effort, you should go ahead and go to Google and try to do what you can to make sure you research on the Quest 3s. Because the Quest 3s, as awesome as it looks, as awesome I'm sure it is not worth it if you're going to try to buy a Quest 3, or at least if you're kind of debating which is which. If you're going to try to buy a Quest 3, or if you're going to try to buy a Quest 3s. Now, if you're 100%, and I mean 100%, concluding in the idea that you're going to be buying a Quest 3s, knock yourself out. I'm pretty sure Quest 3s nonetheless is going to be a great product for you. However, the Quest 3 is much better, and if you have enough within your budget to actually pay for a Quest 3, truly, and I mean truly, it's going to be worth it for many different reasons. Now, first off, I actually got the chance to have my first VR console back in January of this year. So I ended up with the Quest 2. Now, this, of course, here's an interesting story, interesting anecdote, because it does connect to what I'm about to talk about as to why I believe the Quest 3s is not necessarily worth it. However, going back to the story, the Quest 2, I got that, and I remember the first thing that when I put on that headset, it was the most amazing thing in the entire world. It really was. It was an absolutely incredible experience. I mean, the Quest 2 overall is a great VR headset. I'm not going to go ahead and sit here and say that it's bad. It was actually really good. But after weeks and weeks and weeks of using it, and after about a month or so, I realized that the lenses were incredibly frustrating. Now, of course, every single person is different. However, I'm sure it's safe to say that the lenses, the Fresnel lenses that the Quest 2 uses, really is not the best. It's a bit blurry at times. There's only perhaps maybe a little small portion of the center of the lenses that are very much clear, but anything surrounding it is very blurred and so forth. It kind of does get a little frustrating, and of course, from a person who has sensitive eyes, it did annoy my eyes quite a bit. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning that is because when I switched from the Quest 2 to Quest 3, it was night and day. As much as I thought the Quest 2 was great, the Quest 3 was a completely, and I mean a completely different story. The Quest 3 had amazing lenses, as they, of course, are known as the pancake lenses. And the Quest 3 has been nothing more but enjoyable for me. It really has. The Quest 2, the thing about that is that I try to enjoy it, and there were a lot of times that I did, but a lot of the times it was spoiled because of the lenses. A lot of the times the Quest 2, for me that is, it was spoiled because of the lenses. Now, again, every single person is different. There are some people out there that actually don't even notice it. But there's a lot of people out there who do. And I was one of them. And I got the chance to just notice it. And again, it was just blurred and it was annoying at times. And it just, again, it was fun, but it was just getting spoiled each and every single time. I was watching movies here and there, and sometimes I had to readjust my headset a lot of times during the movie. And I was thinking, man, this is kind of uncomfortable. I'd rather just watch it on my phone. But when I got the Quest 3, it's a different story, as I said, because of the pancake lenses. Now, the reason why I mention that is because the Quest 3s uses the same lenses as the Quest 2. It's almost as if, and a lot of people are stating this, but it's almost as if it's not really the Quest 3s, but it's more so Quest 2 Plus, which I can see why they say that. The Quest 3s isn't really that much slimmer than the Quest 3, first off, even though it's supposed to be the Quest 3 Slim or whatever the case. But nonetheless, the point I'm trying to make here is this. The Quest 3s is at $299, $300 with taxes and such. The Quest 3, on the other hand, is $499, $500 plus with tax. Okay. However, the reason why I say it's not worth it is because with the Quest 3s, the Fresnel lenses that you use, that it has, is going to ruin a lot of people's experiences. Now, take it with a grain of salt, because, again, this is coming from my experience, and if you have the Quest 3s, or if you're about to buy one, you know what? Again, more power to you. I hope that you really have a good time, and I'm glad for you, because VR is one of the greatest, if not the greatest things going around right now. But personally, for me, the Fresnel lenses are not bad. And of course, I should say they are very much bad. And you can look it up on Google. There's a lot of different articles. There's a lot of different sources that indicate that Fresnel lenses are much weaker compared to that of pancake lenses. So you might actually be facing a lot of different, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess a lot of different annoying experiences, for lack of a better term. So when you get the Quest 3S, you're paying just about $300 for basically a Quest 2 just added more into it. You know, you do have mixed reality with the Quest 3S from what I understand. There's a button that allows you to go from pass-through to reality and so forth, which is pretty cool, although I'm not quite sure why exactly a lot of people are saying that's a great addition when on the Quest 3, all you have to do is just tap to the left of your console or the headset, and there we go. Hand tracking's great and all that stuff. It looks like it has just about every single thing from the Quest 3, except for a couple of different things. For example, the jack port. The jack port is on the Quest 3. On the 3S, unfortunately, they took it out. Why did they do that? I'm not quite sure why. However, of course, they did remove that feature. But nonetheless, the Quest 3S, though, again, it's pretty much a Quest 3 with a lesser amount of features. Which is why I'm saying, why would you settle for a Quest 3S if you have the budget, if you have the time right now? Let's say you have $300 and you're so excited and you want to get the Quest 3S right now. My opinion to you is to just say, wait. The wait will be worth it. It really is. Because despite the fact that you might have the money now to buy it, and I know you probably want to play it, trust me when I say this, it's going to be a lot better. The experience is going to be a lot better. It is. I can absolutely guarantee it. And one thing that I want you to understand, for the people to understand here, is that when you get the chance to actually, play the Quest 3S, or whenever you get the chance to play, or at least look at the features of the Quest 3S, really understand that there's not much to it, right? So for example, by the way, if you have a Quest 2 and you're going to try to upgrade a Quest 3S, don't even, that's not even on the table at this point in time. Don't even go there, because $300 is not worth of something that you already have technically with just maybe an added feature here and there. I'm not going to lie to you. All right, so if you have a Quest 2 right now and you're thinking of getting a Quest 3, highly recommend you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't, because it really is a Quest 2 with just a few more. And that's it. But the Quest 3, on the other hand, I mean, it really all boils down to, it only boils down to literally the lenses, which is why I say that you should just wait. Because the lenses for the Quest 3 are 10 times better than the Quest 3S. Pancake lenses definitely is worth the extra $200. It is crisp clear. It's crystal clear, of course. Everything is absolutely incredible. The side view, everything is just much easier to look around with. Everything looks completely more HD. There's no annoying experiences in there. So, with just that, I'm saying that I truly believe that the Quest 3 right off the bat is already worth it. $500. And I know the Quest 3S is supposed to be the introduction for VR, which is good. It's awesome. And again, this isn't really, so on paper, it might seem as if this is a hate video for the Quest 3S. Again, don't get me wrong, the Quest 3S is absolutely incredible. It really is. And if you really want to buy one, go right ahead. But I'm just saying that the Quest 3S is not necessarily worth it if you're going to try to buy a Quest 3 at the end of the day. It really is not. I truly believe that it's going to be much better for all of you out there to make sure that you can actually wait until you get a Quest 3, because that right there is the best. In fact, let's go ahead and take a look at this. I have some of the stats pulled up here. First off, as you can see, the lens type, we already talked about it. Pancake lenses for Quest 3, both the Quest 3S and Quest 2 had Fresnel. Or I keep saying Fresnel, but it's Fresnel. Or whatever the case. I'm not even quite sure. Anyways, listen, all I'm saying is that the lenses are much better for the Quest 3. That's all that matters. Anyways, going back to what I was saying, though, it says here the field of view, it's 110 degrees by 96 degrees for the Quest 3, whereas the Quest 3S, on the other hand, it's about 89 and 96 by 96 degrees, which is obviously much smaller. All right. So the field of view is going to be much smaller, which can take away just a bit of the experience. It can. And that right there could be a factor when it comes to this. Also, when it comes to the lens separation, the Fresnel lenses for the Quest 3S, if you want to try to separate the two, you have only 3 options. It's just 3 steps. It's either the 58, 63, or 68 millimeters, just like the Quest 2. For the Quest 3, on the other hand, you have a little bit more of freedom to roam through. You have a continuous separation there. So you can actually already probably jump to the conclusion that, okay, at this point in time, the Quest 3 is actually probably the better, and actually, I say actually, but I'm sorry to say this, but it is the better product. So we keep going on here, and look, it says here, when it comes to the weight, by the way, if you're differentiating in the weight, the total weight for the Quest 3 is 515 grams, whereas the Quest 3S, on the other hand, is only 514 grams. So again, I'm not quite sure why in the world they called it a Quest 3 Slim, if really, at the end of the day, they're just about the same. Headphone jack, as I stated before, Quest 3 has one. The Quest 3S, they took it out. Quest 2 actually has one as well. So battery life, sure, you can actually make the argument and say that the battery life could also be an integral factor when it comes to experience, and I can agree with you. But the battery life differences, it's not all that much different, really. The battery life for the Quest 3 is only 2.2 hours, whereas the Quest 3S, it's stating here 2.5 hours. So just a little bit more, yeah, okay, but is that really, really worth it? I wouldn't say so. 2.2 hours is more than enough, if we're being honest. I mean, I'll be the first to admit, when I'm on my Quest 3, unless if I'm watching a movie, but for the most part, when I'm using my Quest 3, I'll be on there for a good hour and a half. And that seems to be, that's just a pretty decent amount of gaming there. So, with that being said, I truly think, in my opinion, that the Quest 3 at the end of the day is going to be your go-to VR headset. Even if you're sort of let's say if you don't even have a VR, I understand the Quest 3S is supposed to be the introduction for VR. I would say skip it and just go straight to the Quest 3. Honestly. I mean, Meta's great at the end of the day. When they are creating their VR headsets, they don't play around. I'll tell you, it is absolutely incredible. Everything about the Quests is absolutely incredible. It is. So, I'm here to tell you that whichever headset you end up getting, really, it's no right or wrong answer, but what I will tell you is that if you really have the opportunity to kind of just save up for the next $200 to get the Quest 3, do it. It shouldn't even be a discussion. It really shouldn't. Okay, it actually should not. Okay, you can look at the Quest 3, and then you can look at the dimensions, you can look at the stats when it comes to the Quest 3S, and you'll be able to see that really at the end of the day, it's a much better product compared to the 3S. And yeah, of course, a lot of people are going to go, well, no duh, that's why it's cheaper. But that's the reason why I'm saying, hey, no duh, don't buy the Quest 3S. Go ahead and go straight for the Quest 3. Don't waste your money on something that more than likely you're going to not have as much fun. Maybe, actually. I don't want to say more than likely. Every single person's different, as I stated. But look, this is another stat that I forgot to mention. Pixels per eye. So we have 2064 by 2208 for the Quest 3, whereas the Quest 3S is about 1680 by 1870. Obviously much less than the Quest 3. And there's just a lot of different stuff. I mean, I do understand that the Quest 3... Yeah, okay, so it says here that the chipset, it's Snapdragon XR2 Gen 2, which is pretty strong when it comes to that. So that's great. They do have that for the Quest 3S. But still, I just don't think that it's enough. I really do think that these small little features that we're talking about here in this podcast are actually the biggest features that you should be concerned whenever you're debating on what you're going to do, what you're going to buy, and so forth. At the end of the day, I truly think that would be just a very important thing for you to really make the decision wisely and to just save your money and wait until you're at 500. And therefore, of course, you can then have the better headset. You can't. I mean, it would be a much better experience. I can guarantee you. Really, I mean, you will not get confused. You will not be annoyed. You will not be. I mean, I'll tell you, when I had the Quest 2, for instance, using the Fresnel lenses, it was fun, but it later got so tedious and it later got so frustrating that I had to readjust my headset each and every single time. Each and every single time I had to readjust my headset. Again, readjusting it 5 minutes later, 5 minutes after that, 5 minutes, of course, after that as well. So there were so many different times that I was readjusting my headset. I'm thinking, my God, this is very uncomfortable. So that's how the story went. I got the Quest 2 at first. I used it for about the first month and a half. I stopped using it for quite some time because it really was getting to the point where it was getting annoying. As much as I loved it, it was getting really annoying. I was kind of going, oh, I would love to use the Quest, but the blurriness sometimes is just off-putting for me. And I remember a little funny story. I called Amazon. Now, my return window was actually past due. So I got it in the beginning of January. My return window was about 30 days. So I had to return it by the 30th of January. And after that, I couldn't return it at all. So this is about maybe end of February, early March, somewhere around there of this year. And I'm thinking, well, would it be too late for me to call Amazon for me to try to, return this for my money? And I said, yeah, you know what? I'm not even going to call because what's the use, right? I mean, the return window is already closed at this point. What am I going to do? Then I said later on, about a few minutes after that, I said, you know what? It doesn't really hurt to call, so I might as well just call, which I did. So I called Amazon, and here I thought, hey, it's worth a shot. I mean, obviously, the least they're going to say is no. Okay, cool. But here I am talking to the representative, and they were leaning towards the idea that I wasn't going to be able to get it. She said, oh, you can see that the return window, it's past due. And I said, all right, that's fine. And as soon as I said that's fine, she said, here, hold on for just a second. Let me ask my supervisor. So I was put on hold for a good 5-10 minutes. And then she came back and she said, all right, you can turn it in. It's a one-time exception. I said, oh, my God, thank goodness. So I got the chance to turn it in, and I got the Quest 3 instead. And it was easily probably one of the greatest decisions I've ever made. Honestly. So, anyways, I'm just saying that I talked about the little features here, and I honestly believe, in my opinion, that it's not worth it to get the Quest 3S. For $300, I'm sure it's great. However, $500, it's just only $200 more, right? We're not talking about a Quest 3 that costs about $800, $900. Now, of course, if that's the case, then I would absolutely 100% say, you know what? Because of the price differences, yeah, you should probably get a Quest 3S then, because of the difference of the price. I probably would have ended up, if I actually didn't start with a VR earlier this year and I was about to get one, then I would probably buy a Quest 3S anyway, because that would be a huge amount of money. $800, $900. I understand the Quest Pro is about $1,000, which is unbelievable because I don't know why it's at $999, but that's a different story. I mean, goodness gracious, the Apple Vision Pro is at $3,500. And from what I understand, you can do just about every single thing on the Quest 3 that you can do on the Vision Pro. So, anyways, though, since there's not much of a huge gap when it comes to a price difference, it's just only $200, which I guess in this day and age, $200 is a whole lot. It really is. It actually really is. I'm not going to try to boil it down to that idea that it's not much. It really is. But it's also doable. That's what I'm trying to say. It is doable for you to definitely get $200 more and just waiting a few more weeks, a month more, it doesn't matter. I mean, it depends on how long it's going to take for you to, of course, gain that money. But you can do some stuff. You can do some extra stuff on the side. Who knows? Whatever the case may be, though, it is doable. It's not like it's going to take you a year. Heck, it's not like it's going to take you about 6 months. At the very least, to reach $200, it should at least take you about a month. It should. All right. I'm just being a little too generous. Most jobs, I'm sure you can get the $200 within a week or two, but that's a different story. The point is, though, within a month, you can actually get the extra $200. So with that being said, I say, you know what, just go ahead and go for it. Buy the $200. I should say, go ahead and buy the Quest 3 and save up $200. And therefore, of course, now you have $500. You can buy the better product. That would be a much better choice. At the end of the day, it's going to be up to you, but I'm just saying the Quest 3S really is not worth it because you can already, you heard the specs that I gave out throughout the video. There's a lot of specs that are very much similar between the two, sure, but there's a lot of specs that are not, including, as I stated, the lenses. The Fresnel lenses are horrible. And this is coming from me, though. If you like them, if you don't find it, if you don't find anything bad about that, completely fine. But I'm just saying that I believe the pancake lenses is a reason enough. It's a reason alone for you to buy the product itself. You're really going to have a much better time with the Quest 3 because of the lenses alone. And then you have the field of view and so forth, of course. So there's a lot of different things going on there. But bottom line, for all intents and purposes, I truly believe at the end of the day, it's all going to be about making sure that it's about, like I said, it's all about making sure that you have the best experience. And the best experience would be to definitely, as I stated, to definitely have the Quest 3. Pancake lenses for the win. There we go. All right, listen, at the end of the day, this is just all rhetoric anyways. This is really a video. This is just my opinions, and I truly believe at the end of the day that the Quest 3S is not worth it. I believe the Quest 3, on the other hand, is, but at the end of the day, it's going to be up to you, right? It's going to be up to you, the consumer, at the end of the day, that's going to basically decide on which product is for you. Now, don't get confused, okay? I mean, even though when I say the Quest 3S is not worth it when you're comparing it to the Quest 3, when you're just talking about the Quest 3S alone and you're not comparing it to anything, it's still an incredible product. So don't get confused. I'm not sitting here and saying don't get it, right? If you're not gonna compare it to the Quest 3, you're not really caring for much, and you just want to go straight into the VR with the Quest 3S at this point in time, and you want to buy it right here and now, sure, that's fine. You're still going to get a great product. But if you're one of these people who are literally just going back and forth, what should I get? Should I save maybe more and then get the Quest 3? Get the Quest 3. The Quest 3S is not worth it. Anyways, thanks for joining us, everybody. It was an interesting topic here tonight, a part of the Eon Network podcast. Again, we'll continue the weekly podcast every single Wednesday. We cannot wait for next week. We'll catch you next time. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you next week live on the Eon Network podcast. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a good night.